I'm Wally. Today I decided to do a video of how to actually install a plumb easy geyser blanket in the roof. As you're well aware, our brochures and our marketing material and the previous videos I've done, it's all been where I've either installed it on a table on a stand or outside where it's easy to install. And people are saying you're making it look a lot easier than what it is inside a roof. True enough. But as you can see, some of the challenges of doing a video in the roof is you've got pipes and rafters which are in the way. But the point is we're going to illustrate the correct way to do the plumb easy geyser blankets, how to position it, and that I can demonstrate it in a real roof scenario. What I'm going to do in this video is to explain the correct ways to install a blanket. I'll also indicate what tools you need to install the blanket and which are the cautions that you need to keep in mind when you install a geyser blanket. What is the correct way to install a geyser blanket? To begin with, the most important part is that you don't cover the front end. What I call the front end is where the electrical work is of the geyser. In other words, the elements, the thermostat. And the main reason being, although the blanket has been tested by the fire lab and it doesn't support flame spread, you don't want to take a risk of a geyser possibly getting an electrical short and starting a fire. The blanket will never ever start a fire. It would be because of a wire that's not connected correctly that creates a hot connection and possibly melts and causes a short. So for safety purposes, we recommend that you do not insulate the front part of the geyser where the electrical wiring is. The rear end, what I call the rear end, is you can cover because that'll give you the additional energy saving, but do not cover the front part. If the front part is covered, we cannot take any liability for potential fire or shorts that might happen on the geyser. The correct way to install a blanket, secondly, is to position it correctly on the hot water tank. What you will find is that 80% of the South African market is a 150 litre hot water cylinder, and majority of them is the quick hot make. This particular tank is also a quick hot, but it's a 200 litre geyser, and that's what we say with our blanket. It's a universal that can cover up to a 200 litre system. Now, to demonstrate that, this tank's length is 1.2 meters long. The blanket is 1.75 meters long. So that gives you an additional 550 millimeters at the end that we fold over to insulate the geyser. And that's why we call it geyser blanket with side cover, because there's enough material to cover the rear end of the geyser. If you look at the circumference of the geyser, 1.25 meters, and that's why the blanket in its width is 1.2 meters. More than enough to sufficiently insulate more than 80% of your geyser. What I'm going to do with this installation video is this geyser blanket that's on the tank now was fitted 6 years ago when I bought the property and retrofitted the system on the solar panels. So instead of removing this insulation, I'm just going to install a second blanket on top here to demonstrate the fitment of the geyser blanket. Because this material is so cost effective, you could very easily install two blankets on top of one another so that it's not 50 millimeters but 100 millimeter insulation. The energy saving with your geyser blanket is so good that within 4 months you've paid back that investment of the geyser blanket with your energy saving. which is a phenomenal payback period with your geyser blanket. So to install 2, you'll optimize that saving. What we're also going to do is I'm going to show you I've taken an additional blanket and cut it into strips of 200 millimeters wide, which we're going to use for pipe insulation, as you can see here in the back, where you can use that to insulate your pipes. This is nice thick 50 millimeter thickness, and again, because the blankets are so cost effective, it makes a lot of financial sense to just buy an additional one and to do the strips for the pipe insulation. So what we're going to do is we're going to start now. I'm going to position the blanket. I'm going to cut the blanket to go over the hot water outlet pipe that we can slide it over, fit it in position, install the tapes, install the straps, and show you very clearly how to fit the geyser blanket correctly. Again, note, we don't cover the front end where the electrical wire is. So let's begin. Just again, the 1.2 meter wide width goes around the tank, and the 1.75 meters are on the length of the geyser blanket. As you can see here, the blanket is now in position. The 1.75 meter length with more than enough material to cover the rear end of the geyser here at the back. I don't know if you can see on the video, but there's more than enough material to insulate the rear end of the tank. We just made a slit on the outgoing hot water pipe, and then starting from the front end, we've positioned it with a 1.2 meter length going round the tank. And that gives you your 80% coverage to maximize your energy saving on the geyser. So now what I'm going to do is install the tape and the strapping. Included in the kit is then 3 straps, and this ensures that the geyser blanket will stay in position over the life of the hot water cylinder, or the expected life of the cylinder. It fits with a plastic buckle, which means that you'll be able to, if this tank ever bursts or needs to be replaced, you can then take the same geyser blanket and then fit it on your new system again. The clips are positioned very easily, as you can see on the installation instruction, and there's 3 straps that go on the length of the tank. So to conclude, what we've done is we've fitted the Plum Easy geyser blanket, the 1.75 meter over the length of the blanket. We cut it to slit across the hot water outlet pipe, and afterwards we just taped it down to seal that blanket off very nicely. We put the fitment straps, the 3 fitment straps, to keep the tank in place, and we've covered the rear end of the geyser. Very importantly, we didn't cover the side where the electrical wires is, and with that you still get enough, more than 80% coverage of the tank, which maximizes your energy saving. What I want to demonstrate quickly is if you wanted to install the pipe insulation, the 200mm strips that I've cut, you would literally just do as a wraparound on the pipes, where you wrap those strips around the pipes to insulate the piping, to minimize your energy losses there. And for that you can just buy an additional blanket and cut it on the 1.2 meter length. You'll be able to cut various pieces, more than enough to cover most of your hot water pipes. So happy energy saving.